Yes.
Please, I can also see the screen. Can you do something for me as well?
Yes, I'm gonna record the session and I'm gonna put it on YouTube. Okay?
Thank you very
No
much.
problem, guys. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna record this session and everything I say in this session, I'm gonna put it on YouTube so you guys can all view it after and kind of re-see what I say. And if you guys can't follow along right now, it's okay because you guys can watch it later. It's not a big deal. Okay,
Thank you.
no problem. Okay, so let's keep going here. With the current session for the people that are able to see the screen. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that the oscillator is in the TVR mode. So the first thing we want to do is when hover over to where it says the Elite Oscillator, click this settings icon, and we want to make sure that under strategy, we have Elite TVR selected, right? Once we have that selected, your chart is going to go from looking like this to looking like that. So you're going to have this line here. Now, what we want to do with this line, again, is we only want to be trading the signals when the line is currently green, right? That's when we want to be entering these signals. What the hell is this? Sorry, guys, 1 second. Please mute your mics if you're not talking. Very important. Okay. So let's take a look at some charts and we'll try to see if we can kind of identify some signals that we should not have taken at that time. So we're going to start going through some charts and we're going to see exactly what's happening around here. Let that load. Okay, so far this chart looks kind of good. Again, we want to ignore the trades that are against the trend. So this buy signal we do not want to take because it is not a smart signal. We want to keep waiting. We want to see if there's any areas of consolidation. Okay, perfect. So we see right here, we had a smart sell signal right here, right? That normally we should take. But if we look down over here, we can see that currently it is not really trending very hard, which means that we should actually look to avoid this trade and not take it. And by not taking this trade, we saved ourselves from a potential um, loss, unless you stayed in a trade past this buy signal and kept on going downwards.
I got him, Cobb. Go ahead.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. So if we keep scrolling back, we're trying to look for more signals. Okay, perfect. This is another area that we can look at. So over here, we can see, guys, we have a red trend. This basically means that there is very little volume in the market, which basically means that you want to ignore it as much as possible. We can see that in this area right here, it was lagging a lot of volume, and look what happened on the chart right here. We had absolutely no volume, and all these signals weren't very good. So you could have avoided these signals that didn't really go anywhere simply just by following the rule of this oscillator right here and trading only when the line is green, right? It's very important. Now, a lot of people are always asking me, okay, do I want to sell when it says sell if I'm in a buy position, or do I want to close my short if a buy pops up? The answer is no, guys. What you want to do is you always want to wait until your trade hits your stop loss or one of your take profits. So for example, if we were to take this trade right here, right? So go ahead and remove the drawings, make it more clear. So let's just say, for example, we took this sell, which we weren't supposed to because it's not a smart sell, right? But let's just say we did, and we set our stop loss slightly above the last swing high, which the swing high would be right here, right? Because that's the last swing high. What we want to do is we actually just want to stay in the trade until the first take profit gets hit. So we would have the first take profit around this level, so a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. So second, we get a horizontal line. So the first take profit would be here. The second take profit would be a 2-to-1, so around over here, and then the third take profit would be around this area. Well, what would have happened, guys, is we would have stayed in this trade, right, as long as possible until it hits a stop loss or until it hits take profit. As we can see, it never hit your stop loss, and you ended up hitting your take profit 3. Now, this is very, very important because I see a lot of people, they are afraid to lose money. They're afraid that the price hits their stop loss. But before you take that trade, you have to understand that that is a likely scenario that can happen, and you have to be okay with it, which is why we say you should never trade more than you're willing to lose, right? So if you have a, let's just say a $100 account, or you have a very small account, it's a $100 account, and you're trying to grow it. That's why you should be practicing with very good risk management and only be trading 1% of your account at a time. So if it does hit your stop loss, it's okay because you only lost 1% and you still have a lot of money left in order to make that money back and win some potential trades in the future, right? If you are using EliteAlgo properly, you will win at least 6 to 8 of every 10 trades you take, meaning that you have a 60 to 80% win rate of the trades you take. So over the long run, even if you're just trading 1%, 2%, which is what you're supposed to be doing, you're still going to be making money over the long run, and that money will compound because the more money you have, the more technically money you're trading with, even though you're still staying with 1% or 2%, which is very important. So try to stay true to your trade once you place a trade. Now, what happens here, let's just say the price came down and hit your first take profit, right? What you can do here is you can either wait until it hits a second take profit to take some money out, or you can take a little bit of money out here. So like, let's say you can close like 20%. But what you should do is you should take your stop loss and move it to break even. So that way, now you have absolutely zero risk on that trade. And then you can start to see, okay, how long am I willing to hold it for until it hits take profit 3 or until it hits take profit 2, right? So that really depends on how long you want to hold it. I personally like to hold the money until I get at least take profit 2 or at least a 1.5 restored ratio. So at least until it hits around this level right here. That's when I usually like to take my profit out. So again, that's up to you and how much risk you're willing to take. But as soon as it hits take profit 1, what you should do is you should move your stop loss to break even. So now you have no more risk involved in that trade. So let's go ahead and take a look at another chart. Okay, perfect. Look at this chart here. CHF JPY. This is a very volatile chart. One of my favorites to trade. Let's see exactly what's happening over here. Okay, so we got a smart buy signal, right? Right here. Now, most people will be like, okay, this is actually a very good trade. It came down. It's retesting this support that we see right there. So price came back up, broke out the support, the resistance, came back to retest the support, and we got a buy signal. Now, normally that would be a very good buy signal to take, but because we see that in the new oscillator that we have, the new feature that we just updated, we are currently in a yellow trend. That basically means that there is not that much volume, so that trade is actually still going to be a little bit risky. So you could have ignored that trade, and that would have saved you from a loss right there. Very, very straightforward. And then we can see as well this one here. Like this is, we got a smart buy. It was a very choppy trade. These are the type of trades where we kind of don't want to take. We want to take things that are more sure. So again, we're not trading this one because we had a, again, orange line. If we keep looking for a good sell signal, we can see that right now, this entire chart is kind of ranging, right? So it's in a channel. It's not a trending chart. As you can see, it's creating a channel. We don't really want to be trading these type of charts. So that's why we completely ignore these signals. Even though you can make money, it is still a lot riskier. We ended up getting a decent sell signal here when it touched the top of the channel, then came back down. We got sell. This would have been a little bit higher risk because you're not trading with the trend, but you can see that down here, it had good volume, which basically meant that, okay, the trade has a good chance of actually hitting our take profit, which it did. So again, what we're trying to teach right now in this session is how to properly use the TVR. If we keep looking at other charts, let's take a look and let's see what happens. Let it load. Okay, so we got a smart buy signal right here. In this section, we had a green line, which basically would have been a good trade to take. Now, unfortunately, it came back up and it hit this resistance, right? But I'm pretty sure that if you were using the suggested stop loss and take profit for this chart, what would have happened is that it would have gave you a stop loss around over here, because the last resistance is around this area. So your trade would have been something like that. That would be take profit number 1 up here. Your second take profit would have been around right there. So this one would have hit your take profit one. Even though it went down and you were in a little bit of drawdown, that's okay. But because you took the trade when you're in a green volume trend, that means there was high volume at that time, which means that the chart is more likely to hit your take profit. So that would have been a decent trade to take, but again, not that great. Now this one here, it went up, it hit the top of the channel before coming back down. This is why we kind of say, guys, you don't really want to be trading that much in a ranging chart. And we can clearly see that this chart is not ranging, because if we take a look at the general structure here, we can see that it's kind of just staying in the middle of the chart. So what we will want to do is we want to wait until it breaks out of this range and then starts dropping. So let's just say, for example, normally what would happen is that eventually it's going to break out of the range. It's going to come back up, retest the support before coming back down, or doing the same thing at the opposite way. So if it came down over here, broke out of this, came back to retest that resistance that became support before going back up. And then this is where you want to start trading. So for example, over here, and turn off the dashboard so we can see more clearly. Just give it a second. What you want to do is you want to look to get these trades right here. So before this comes down, and before this comes down, starts, so either creates a new uptrend or a new downtrend. This is where you want to be trading, guys. You do not want to be trading when it's in a range, even though you can make some money if you get a little bit lucky. But again, when it's like this, it's gonna be a lot harder to have a very high win rate, and you want to be focusing only when you're either in a uptrend or when you're in a downtrend like this. When the chart is looking like that, you kind of want to try to avoid it as much as possible, unless you're like you've been trading for 5-6 years and you know exactly what you're doing, and you know your risk tolerance is there for that, right? But if you're a new trader, you should always look to trade with the trend only. It will help your win rate tremendously, especially at the beginning. Let's take a look at some other charts. So this one is also a little bit in a range. We can see that because it hasn't really made a lower high or a lower low. As we can see right here, it's kind of been in this, stuck in this area. So again, we don't want to be trading this chart because it is stuck in a range, right? So again, we should ignore it, keep looking. Okay, so if we look at this one, guys, we can see that, let's turn off the Algo so we can see it more clearly. We see that, okay, a downtrend has started. How do I know a downtrend has started?
It has knees.
Because it's been making lower highs and lower lows, as you guys can see. So this actually might be a good opportunity to start taking some trades, because if we draw a trend line, sorry, one second. If we were to draw a trend line, we can see that this is the current channel we're in, because it is making lower highs and lower lows, right? And over here, we have a little bit of resistance around this area. And we can see, basically, if we turn the algo, we have a sell signal and it's green. So I'm assuming, because we have high volume, because we are trending downwards, that this would be a good opportunity to take a trade. Our stop loss would be slightly above the trend line, or above a resistance, so around this area. Take profit would be at the bottom of the trend line. This is what we would like to see for a trade in this scenario, and this looks like a good trade to me. Now, one more thing we can do to kind of look at this and see, okay, is it still a good trade? Well, we are currently on the 1 hour time frame, so we want to see if the daily time frame is a sell or is it a buy. So if we would go to the daily and then check out the last position that's in, we want to see if it's a sell. Yes, it is a sell, which basically means that on the 1 hour chart, we are most likely looking at this trade hitting our take profit down here, right? That's an extra confirmation that we are still trading with the trend, right? Using your higher time frames to help you a little bit. Now, if you were scalping, if you're using the 5-minute time frame, you'd want to look at the 4 hour. But if you're using like the 1 hour or the 4 hour, you'd want to look at the daily or the weekly and see what's happening with that. Pretty straightforward. That's basically how you trade with the trend and how you use the oscillator here at the bottom. This looks like a decent opportunity to get into. It's a little bit risky because we have a very strong support area right now that's being held up at. But if it breaks through that, then it's going to go all the way down to the bottom of the channel. I guarantee that. So you guys can kind of like add that on your chart and just look at it. If we look at other charts and see exactly what's happening with them. So this one, we can see very clear downtrend. So if we were to draw a trend line, we can see that this is the downtrend currently happening. Right, we have a few touches. We have a touch up here, here, and here. What we want to do here, guys, is we simply just want to wait until the price goes back up, either here before it comes back down, or if it goes back up to this trend line before it comes back down. So we're going to try to take a smart sell signal if it comes over here or over here, because we are in a downtrend, and because currently our oscillator is saying that it is green, which means that there is high volume, which means that we are not trading in a ranging market. Very important, guys. Just like over here, for example, again, we had a smart buy and a smart sell that didn't really go anywhere because we had very low volume there, and it was consolidating a lot, because you see that it was red and orange around this level. Yeah.
How are you?
What's up, man? How can I help you? Ask your question. You have a question, bro? No? Okay. Yeah, so that's basically what I would do in this scenario. Just ignore the buy signal that's going to come, wait for a smart sell, and then potentially take that smart sell if we are still in a green trend right here with the oscillator here at the bottom. Now, what I also like to do is, because we can have up to 3 indicators on the chart for the free trading view. What I like to do here is I go back into my indicators, and then I'm going to have another oscillator. Now, why? I'll show you why. Because with the regular normal oscillator, if we were to zoom in, we can see very clearly in the oscillator when the market is trending heavily and when the market is trending, is kind of about the rebound. So for example, we see here that we have a loss of momentum because we have dark colors. So this means that there's potential for a reversal to go back up, and then eventually before that come back down. So we can know. So if we were in this sell signal here, we would know, okay, maybe we should take profit around this area, right? Because we have 2 or 3 dark bars at this time. So this could be an area where we can take profit. So this kind of shows like the momentum of the market. And this is something I like to use a lot with my setup. So my setup when I'm trading, I'm normally using EliteAlgo, Elite Oscillator, and this new TVR that's been working very, very well. And that's pretty much it, guys. That's how you trade with EliteAlgo. You just want to use all the tools that you have and always trade with the trend. If you can do that and you can do it smartly and also at the same time manage your risk properly, guys, then you are a profitable trader. If you can just do that, it's not very complicated. We made the system as easy as possible for traders to pick it up and start trading.
Without being able to see what a TVR is, can you tell me?
Yes. Do you have the oscillator open on your chart? The Elite Oscillator?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So click the settings. Under the strategy mode in the settings, you want to change it to Elite TVR. It is part of the new update we made. So if you didn't update your chart yet, you won't see it. If you need any further help, just inbox me in my DM and I can help you get started with that. No problem.
You guys, you already did drop a video on this, didn't you?
Not yet. We made a video a couple days ago. Right now being edited by one of our editors, and once that's ready, we're gonna release it. The video will also talk about like the other new features that we have. Let's just like order blocks, for example, which we'll go over in the video and potentially in another training session. So let it load for a second.
Cool. Can't wait on the next set of vids, man.
Yeah, for sure. We're trying to pump up at least 1 or 2 videos a week. That's what we're aiming for right now. Okay, awesome. So that's pretty much it for this, guys. Again, I recorded this video. It's about 20 minutes long, so I'm gonna post that on YouTube for you guys, unedited, raw, and you guys can go check it out and see if you guys missed anything that I was talking about, and you guys can kind of go back to that video a little bit later on once you're trading and see if you're doing everything correctly. But that's pretty much it, guys. You do not want to trade when the TVR says that it's orange or green or red. You only want to be trading when it is green. That's the best way to go about it, and that's the best way to start trading with the trend and only following the smart signals. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, message me my DMs, and I'll be happy to answer it. Have a good day.